Hello, Professor Halsey here, back for 4.2 Zybooks Summits for CEIS150, and we're looking at accessing base class attributes. So derived classes can access the attributes of all its base classes via normal attribute reference operations. For example, item 1.setName might refer to the setName method attribute of a class from which item 1 is derived. An attribute reference is resolved using a search procedure that first checks the instance namespace, then the class's namespace, then the namespace of any base classes. The search for an attribute continues all the way up the inheritance tree, which is the hierarchy of classes from a derived class to the final base class, so much like your own family tree. Did you ever, somebody might have told you your great-grandmother used to like to do that, and you find out that this is an attribute that you inherited from somebody that was considerably far back in your tree. Consider the following class structure in which motorcycle, we see motorcycle down here, is derived from motor vehicle. Then motor vehicle is derived from transport mode. And here is transport mode with name and speed and a info function. Okay. All right, so I've copied this. I want to pull it over into our sandbox. And give it a run. And go look at what the code starts doing, because down here we create a scooter based on motorcycle and a dirt bike based on motorcycle. Vespa 55 and 40, KX 450F and 80 and 25. Okay, and we have scooter.info, and then it calls dirtbike.info, and then we have an input request, scooter or dirt bike. Okay, so if scooter, then select add fuel, go, wheelie, or quit. If it's F, enter amount to add. If it's G, enter distance. Else, if it's W, we're doing a wheelie, or Q, brakes. Okay. So at this point, we're enter S for scooter or D for dirt bike. I'm going to hit the D for dirt bike. Oops, in the wrong spot. Okay, add fuel. So let me do that. And I can add 15 gallons. Alright, now I want to do a wheelie. That's too dangerous, especially on a scooter. I guess I'd pick dirt bike, didn't I? Okay, how about G for go? Enter distance, 15 miles. You have 14.4 gallons remaining. Alright, so we'll quit that one. Okay, we enter S for scooter, and it's the same type of menu. Do we want to add fuel? And 15 gallons. And then we can go, let's say this time we go 100 miles on a scooter. 12.5 gallons remaining. That's if it can hold a 15-gallon engine. a 15-gallon tank. And wheelie, again, that's too dangerous. Okay, let's quit. Okay, again, this is one of those great examples to have in my toolbox, so make sure you copy that, keep it in there. It does have an example of 3 levels of inheritance, and is showing you how you would call all those different levels and be able to use the derived class with the base methods and attributes. It's pretty neat how you can do that. Okay, I'm going to skip this. It is not a graded component, so I'm coming down to the ones that are. Inheritance tree describes the hierarchy between base and derived classes. Yes, it does. Evaluating bike.wheelie searches the transport mode, then motor vehicle, then finally motorcycle for the wheelie method. I think it goes backwards, right? The search starts in the class of instance, so it would start with wheelie and then would go to motorcycle and then to motor vehicle and then to transport mode. So we don't go to great grandpa before we check with ourselves first. When adding a new derived class, a programmer has to change the base class as well. No, we don't have to change anything about the base class. That's the fun part of it. All right, that's it for 4.2. Thank you very much. Come back for 4.3, overriding class methods.